Cut. Play now. Be a pro career. Continue.
And congratulations once again. Stick taps all around for career goal number 400. What a career already for this guy. And he's been so good on the ice and such a dynamic offensive force. I guess up next is Ray Ferraro's magic mark of 408 career goals. I'd have to check the numbers. I'm not sure if he's got more than the 2 empty netters that Ray managed in his career, but we'll get our stats department. We'll get Danny Lopes to check in on that for us sometime and try to get that answer for you. All right, still to come here on the show, we'll check in with a Well, busy night in the National Hockey League. Let's see what happened elsewhere on the ice. The Jets were looking to grab points on the road against the Avalanche. Colorado puts on a show in the shootout and get the win. Let's take a look at the rest of the schedule in the NHL. The Panthers took to the road to match up with the Predators. Florida takes this one as they win it in the shootout. The Golden Knights took to the ice to battle the Canadiens. Vegas played a complete game in this one and easily get the regulation win. Time for a quick break, but we got a lot more coming up on the ice next. Those were pretty pointed comments from the coaching staff to say, hey, look, you need to tighten it up on the ice. You are way too undisciplined out there. We've tried to talk to you about this, and you're not getting the message. I don't know what's next, but I would think that maybe some playing time that could be shaved if you're not going to listen to what the coaching staff's telling you. But look, too many reckless penalties. It's hurting the team. But I thought it was pretty public from the coach's sentiment there, from those comments, that he needs to tighten it up. All right, meantime, some other interesting comments around the NHL here. All right, let's take a look at some of the final scores in the league tonight. The Jets were on the road up against the Kings. Los Angeles topples the opposition with a strong effort at both ends. All right, let's go around the horn and see what happened elsewhere around the NHL tonight. The Avalanche played on the road against the Wild. Colorado pushes past in a tight one. The Wings had their hands full with the Devils. Detroit tosses home the overtime winner. And, you know, when you look at the run that he has had over the course of his career, I mean, he's already built a pretty good resume to make a case for the Hall of Fame. Couple of Stanley Cups, has just been an absolute cornerstone for this franchise. But I also think he's not done yet, right? Like, I'm not ready to retire him just yet. I'm personally speaking, I'm wondering, does he still have enough for a third Stanley Cup? Can he win again? Can he take this team over the top one more time? I personally speaking, I think he has it in him. I think that there's still another run here in him and his ability. But I'm going to turn this over to you. Phone lines are open now. You got a few people already jumping in here. What say you? Can they go the distance with him leading the charge again? Let's go to Danny on line 3. Hey, Danny. I think, hey, look, I get why the fan base is disappointed, right? Hey, look, you play to win, right? You play to win the game. You want to win championships. And I will say this. I loved what the coaching staff had to say about his play because of the fact that, man, he was noticeable every night. He brought it, right? You can't look at him and say, you know what, we didn't get enough out of him. He was great in the postseason. Loved his energy, loved his compete, and I think what you heard from the coaching staff there just moments ago. And I think, hey, look, I get why the fan base is disappointed, right? Hey, look, you play to win, right? You play to win the game. You want to win championships. And I will say this. I loved what the coaching staff had to say about his play because of the fact that, man, he was noticeable every night. He brought it, right? You can't look at him and say, you know what, we didn't get enough out of him. He was great in the postseason. Loved his energy, loved his compete, and I think what you heard from the coaching staff there just moments ago, I think they felt the same way as well. All right, back to line 5 we go. Who is it? It's Naveed. And I think one of the other storylines to me that I'm intrigued by is, you look at what we've seen from him, and yes, we all know he's a talented player, but can he win? Can he win the Stanley Cup? And I think that question needs to be asked now because, he's been in the league for more than a half a decade. I like what he said this week, that he's all in, that he is ready to be in it to win it. I think he's going to need his teammates to be in that same mindset as well, right? I mean, he can only control what he can control, but let's see if there's a different player out there on the ice this year because, I think there's a lot of talent there, but I think a lot of people have kind of seen, like, can he break on through to be great, right? There's very good, and then there's great. And I think we're waiting to see if he can make that jump and win the Stanley Cup. All right, to the phones we go. Matthew is on line 4. And the whole narrative and the expression being good in the room, right? Chemistry is important with a team. How many times have we seen teams that are absolutely stacked with talent and they fall apart? Why? Because there was just a disconnect within the room. And I know with some reporters and some of the media members asking the kid, saying, hey, you know what, why? How do you endear yourself to teammates more? I don't know if there's ever really an answer. I mean, you can go out and, try to be the best player you can be. That's one way to do it. Personally speaking, I think another great way to do it is buying everybody pizza. Because, who likes pizza? Everybody, right? Everybody loves pizza. Let's go back to the phones here. Let's go to Brent. Brent is on line 3. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and what went down tonight on the ice. The Panthers were on the road to take on the Avalanche. Colorado powers their way to victory, showing a lot of grit in both ends of the ice. The Maple Leafs were hoping their offense would show up in a big way against the Golden Knights. Toronto tops the opposition in a fun one. The Hawks were in a dogfight on the road up against the Blues. St. Louis played a strong game at both ends of the ice, and as a result, they get the win. We are as cool as ice, and we are bringing you many more stories from the NHL. We're doing it next. Let's check in on some of the final scores across the league tonight. The Blues were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Sharks. St. Louis toasts their opponents thanks to a brilliant effort between the pipes in the shutout win. The Jets were looking to steal 2 points against the Kings. Winnipeg performs well when they needed to in the skills competition, and they win it in the shootout. Hey, we got to pay a couple of bills here, but we got a lot more action we got to get to. Stay with us. Okay, everybody, let's take a quick look at some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Avs were hoping to play spoiler against the Sabres. Colorado topples the opposition thanks to coming up big in the shootout. Hey, no shortage of action and drama on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at what happened elsewhere. The Kings had an on-ice collision with the Maple Leafs. Toronto posts an impressive win in a tightly contested affair. The Sharks look to run roughshod over the Red Wings. San Jose tallies the extra point in overtime, and they win it. The Rangers were hoping to fly high on the road against the Canucks. Vancouver posts a strong game in their own end, and they do enough to get the W. Don't even think about touching that dial or touching that button. We've got plenty more on the ice, and that's next. All right, let's get all you poolies and all you hockey fans caught up on all the action out on the ice tonight. The Predators went toe-to-toe on the road against the Avalanche. Colorado takes this one in overtime thanks to a spectacular effort in the overtime frame. Well, that's all she wrote for this one, but let's get you caught up on some of the other finals in the matchups tonight. The Capitals were on the road to take on the Stars. Dallas posts a shutout. All right, at this time, everyone, we'll catch you up on what went down and all the action in the league tonight. The Sabres were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Avalanche. Buffalo takes this one in overtime. The Caps took to the ice for a collision with the Canucks. Vancouver powers through in a tight one. The Sens took on the Sharks. San Jose tapped into another gear late, and they pick up the victory. We got to take a quick break, everybody, but we've got a lot more to get to. Stay with us. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Avs were hoping to take a bite out of the Panthers. Florida pulled this one out with a strong defensive effort. The Ducks were in tough with the Devils. Anaheim terrorized the opposition goaltender. Can't even imagine how he feels after that offensive display. All right, lots of wild happenings on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of the scores of what went down. The Penguins took to the ice to lock up with the Islanders. The New York Islanders took this one with a strong defensive effort in their own end. You know, I want to bring it back to him for just a second here. When you look at trying to project who's going to win what awards this season, I'll say this. I think you're looking at the leading candidate for the Lady Byng Award. You know, most gentlemanly player. And it's not to suggest he's soft. He plays hard. He competes. He's not dirty. Goes out there and delivers. Right? That's a guy you can trust out there. I think that's why he's earned a lot of respect from his teammates as well. But I think if I'm going to pencil in a winner right now, I'm going to lean towards him to claim the Lady Byng Award. All right, we'll take some of your predictions. Phones are wide open right now. Well, let's take a look at how the standings were impacted with some of the final scores around the league tonight. The Avalanche paired up with the Ducks. Anaheim tightened it up late in their own end and did enough to preserve the win. The Lightning paired up with the Red Wings. Detroit proved to be a little too much to handle in this night. The Senators were looking to steal two against the Predators. Nashville too much to handle in the shootout as they come away with the win. Lots more to get to on the ice. Stay with us, everybody. Well, some fun, some drama, a little bit of everything on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of those scores around the league. The Avalanche played a game against the Jets. Winnipeg powers their way through late to come away with the win. And a couple more results around the National Hockey League. The Hurricanes had a tall order to fill as they tried to take two on the road against the Senators. Carolina treated almost everyone to a magical offensive display. The Rangers were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Flames. The New York Rangers toughed this one out, and they get the 2 points. We got to take a quick break, but we got a lot more coming your way next.
The Pro Career. Continue.